Now, very carefully, your sanding block. Sand that 45-degree angle. And with a piece, we cut off the airplane. Just very carefully. We don't want to break these two pieces apart. We're going to put a wire in, make them one. So you only have to use one servo and it'll control both sides. We've got to put a wire in because it's really weak in the center here. Please be careful you don't break that. There, I think I'm just a little bit more on this side. Be careful, don't break that center. Okay. Block aside. If I mess here real quick. Here's the wire. We're going to cut these ends off like we did on the ailerons, but the elevator we're going to cut up the part that's indented so it doesn't rub when we put them back in. Now we're going to mark our spots for our wire installation. I'm going to go on the bottom. I'm going to set the wire here and approximately center it. You could measure it, I guess, if you had to. Huh? Make sure it's centered. That's about center. Now that it's centered, I'm going to mark my holes. Should be right there. Right there. There. The reason I'm marking them here is because that's where I'm going to drill them. So I've marked 2 holes there, or 2 black spots. Now I'm going to very carefully bring my drill out. I'm going to drill straight holes into that. One and the other. Make sure you drill straight into it. Otherwise one aileron will be out from the other. Okay, now I want this wire to be hidden. So very carefully between these 2 holes, I'm going to groove this. Again, it's because of that sharp X-Acto knife. That. And then go on this side. Out it comes. Now, I'll test fit. The wire fits in there very good. Check it's dead flat. That's why I use a glass table. Glass table is always a good surface to work on because it's flat. So I can check that my aileron is flat. Oops, I mean elevator is flat. So check that both sides are the same with the wire test installed. Now I'm going to take the wire out and glue it back in. Okay, I got the wire out. Now I'm going to put glue on the 2 prongs. I'm sticking them up in the bottle like this. Get them nice and gluey. And stick it back in those holes after we test fit it. Now stick it all the way in so the wire heads down that groove. Okay, I'm going to apply glue along this groove. Okay. Put it in the glue. Put the glue on. I got my stick. I'm just gonna make it, work it in. Make sure it's all got glue there and the angle is kept for my elevator. There. Now we got the elevator built with the wire. And it's dead flush, it doesn't stick out, so it won't affect the elevator. But it's in there to add a lot of strength. Remember, we had it on the table. Oh, see? Bend it, make sure it's dead straight. Otherwise it won't act right when it's flying. This is an important part right here. It dries straight. See, I haven't got any play. So I'm going to set it over here, but it's going to stay on the glass. And I'll leave my elevator over there by it. Okay, back to the main wing here now. We have this carbon rod. Make sure it fits. Now, I like to put the glue down first, and just a nice little bit all the way along. So carbon rod itself is strong, but all the strength comes from is properly gluing it in place. Now don't worry if the glue doesn't go down into there right away, because the rod will push it down. There. Now just a little bit in the center here. I tape this up afterwards so you can't see the crack where the rod went in. And I'll put the rod in one end here. I'll slide it down. Make sure it's in really tight. And then I'll use my handy screwdriver and push it, make sure it's nice and firm in place all the way across. Ooh, and don't do that. And go right through the wing if you aren't careful. Okay, now I see the glue coming up on top of it. So now I've got it pressed down into the groove. Now we can set that to dry. You can use epoxy if you want, but they supply the glue, and I found that, you know, it's overnight. The glue sets up good, and it's a nice joint. Okay, now the rod's in. We'll set the wing aside for a bit. Okay. Here's the electronics I'm going to use for the airplane. A receiver, brushless motor, a 30 amp, 40 amp max ESC. That'll be my rudder servo, my elevator, my ailerons, and then my battery. I like high C ratings. The 35C, 2700 milliamp. So I'm going to have to cut. Make sure that battery fits in. These are the electronics I'm going to use in the Formosa. GWS Formosa 3D version. We'll let the parts we finished today dry. We'll continue this build soon. Subscribe to get more videos, or watch for my upcoming ones.